Hello everybody and welcome to our live training today. My name is Sian Burton. I am a marketing and scaling expert for women in private practice. Today's video is a little bit different because today is my 40th birthday and I thought it might be fun to share a few lessons that I have learned along the way. I was thinking this morning of, what are the big things that got me to this point? And how can I share those with people so that if you maybe aren't where you want to be right now or are heading towards 40 and not feeling so great about it, or heading towards 50 or 60, it's never too late to think about some of these things that I want to share with you today. So I did, for those of you that watch my videos regularly will notice that I did have some 40 and funky chic hair done. It is not midlife crisis hair. I've been assured by my friends and husband. So those of you that are following along and have been for a while will notice the difference. But the 5 things that I really want to talk about, when I thought about them over the last kind of 24 hours, like I thought about where I am as 40 and I thought about where I thought maybe I would be at 40, and the overwhelming thing, like everybody asks you, how are you feeling about turning 40? And I just feel really, really grateful. I am blessed that I have created an amazing business. I work with amazing clients doing work that I love, having a huge impact on people. I have an amazing family, 2 beautiful kids, a wonderful husband, and I am very much living the life that I would have that I could only dream of as a 8-year-old from a broken home who had been through a lot of trauma. And I'm trying not to get emotional here, but it's been a journey, and it isn't just that someone one day wakes up and they have everything that they hoped and dreamed for. It's taken time and energy and work to get here. And so they're the 5 things that I want to talk about. So there is a pattern here in P's. I don't know, it just kind of came out like that. But the first one is patience. So I have had goals that I've had for years and years and years, and I've set time frames around them and missed them by a mile. The most obvious one being that when I first started my business, I remember telling a friend I'm still friends with now. He said, "What's your 3-year goal?" And I said, "I want to be making $1 million in my business in 3 years." That, ladies, was 8 years ago this year. But I have been patient with that goal, and I have waited for the right time for it to come to fruition. And actually that leads into number 2, which is persistence. Now, I can't tell you how many people who were in business when I first started my business 8 years ago are not in business anymore. I bumped into a lady in David Jones, which is a department store here in Australia, for those of you in the US, and literally bumped into a lady who was working in the underwear section who had been building a business back then. And it was really interesting timing, because this was last Friday, as a reminder of, like, I have been really persistent even in the hardest times. Like, I'm not going to lie and say there hasn't been times over that time frame, not in recent years, but in those first 4 years in business, where I was looking on job websites like Seek or Indeed, for those of you in the US, and thinking, goodness, this could be so much easier if I just went and got a job. It felt easier, but in every single time I would look at it and think, but then I'd have to work full time. I'd be doing 50-hour weeks. I would hardly see my kids. And that isn't easier. That's easier because I would just get paid for showing up. But actually, when I look at my values and what's important to me, that isn't easier. That's way harder. And I didn't want to look back on that and my kids' childhood and regret not being more persistent. And it's paid off, that persistence, right? So a lot of those people aren't in business anymore. It got hard, they gave up. And yes, there is an element of having ADHD, and one of the ADHD symptoms is this relenting persistence they talk about, where there isn't any part of my mind where I don't achieve the things that I want to. It's just a matter of time and effort. And I know that that is a bit of a unique mindset, but if you can channel some of that persistence and channel some of that mindset, it really is the thing that makes the difference. Because when you remove the exit, so, there's that whole concept of burning the boats. When you remove the part of your mind that has an exit plan to go and get a job and work for someone else, that's when your growth really will take off, because you fully invest and you are in it for the long haul, and you're there to be persistent and to make it happen. But number 3 is positivity. And that comes with the persistence, right? Like, you can't be persistent if you don't feel positive and hopeful and aren't positive about situations and failures, what would be termed failures. Like, if you let everything that goes wrong, or everything that doesn't go the way you planned, or every goal that you don't hit, or every person who says something not nice about you or your business, if you let them, that negativity enter into your energy, you just will not achieve the things that you want to achieve. You have to develop a positive outlook on things. And I'm not talking about like toxic positivity either. I'm talking about knowing that the saying, if it doesn't kill you, it will only make you stronger. Like, I've lived my entire life by that mantra. I had a very traumatic childhood. I don't see either of my parents. Because of that, I live on the other side of the world from my family, and so I don't have the rest of my family and my husband's family. I don't have family support. But everything that happens to me is only here to make me stronger. I was diagnosed with ADHD. It's just made me stronger. We have a daughter who's neurodiverse. That is just making me stronger and more accepting and more patient as a person. Yes, it's not the dream to have every perfect box ticked and the white picket fence. No, but those people who have those perfect lives at some point come across some kind of adversity, and they don't have the skills or the strength to navigate it. And actually being able to navigate these things over and over and look for the positive in any given situation is a skill that has profoundly impacted me being in the place I am today at 40, given the childhood that I had and the things that have happened to me. I sit across from psychologists every time I have a new psychologist, and they look at me and they say, you didn't turn out how the textbook said you should. You should be here. And actually you're here, living a happy, full life with a balanced, happy relationship, being successful with a good self-esteem. Like, how did that happen? And I truly believe it's because I'm like persistent in what I want to achieve, and I will not let people stop me. And I will always look for the positive in any situation. How does this thing make me the person I am today? How did that trauma allow me to become who I am and have the strength that I have, or the knowledge that I have, or the empathy that I have? Everything can teach us something if we let it. And that positivity is the third biggest thing that I have found as a lesson, or a big thing that's made a difference for me. The fourth is that people matter. The people you have around you are so important. And sometimes my husband will joke that I can be somewhat black and white with this, in that if I feel like people are not, they're just taking, and they have no desire for it to be a balanced relationship, and it is all about taking my energy for their own gain, then I can be pretty like, okay, that's it. I see this, I'm done. It's like you can be really black and white about it. But I've had to be in all areas of my life, all through my life. So be mindful of the people you have around you that are not positive to you. Like I said, I don't see either of my parents. And some people will say, but they're your family. Like, what could they possibly have done? And trust me, they did things that you would not question if you understood. But the people around you dictate where you end up in life. There's a saying that you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So be really, really mindful who you spend time with. I intentionally spend my time with people who I feel are more caring than I can be, or more successful in business than I can be, or are better at being a friend than I feel like I can be sometimes. So I can learn from them and try and match where they are at so that I can grow as a person. Equally, the other side to that is that the people who love you really, really matter. And there is no point in this life of having a ton of money, having a nice car, having a really successful practice, if the people that you love and that matter to you and that you started to do these things for in the first place have been lost along the way, or those relationships have been completely sacrificed as a result, there's no point to that. Like, success has to come without sacrifice for it to be success. Success isn't measured by what other people say your revenue should look like, or the size of your team, or how fancy your fit out is of your clinic. Success is geared by, when we reach these milestones, how we feel when we look back on what we did in the last 10 years and what we achieved, and the relationships that we have built and the relationships we've maintained. That's our only marker of success. And if everything you're building is coming at a cost to the people that you love and care about, then you need to find another way to build it. And you need to find another way to approach what you're doing that will come with less sacrifice, because you won't get to your next milestone and look back and be glad you made that sacrifice. You'll get back and question why. You'll get there and you'll look back and question why you did it. And so remember that the people matter, both from a positive point of view and also from a negative point of view. And the final thing is that we have to find pleasure in life. Now, that seems really obvious, right? But I am an overachiever. It has been ingrained into me to be successful because that was how I was loved as a child. And I can be all about being productive, achieving the tasks, doing the things that need to be done, getting the job done, and ticking the markers of success, like we just spoke about, right? But when I do not take time for pleasure for myself, or pleasure with other people, or just pleasure in the everyday, like mindfulness, it stops being fun and it turns into a chore and it turns into a slog, and it feels really hard, even if my business is going well, or even if financially I'm doing really well. If there's no pleasure in my life and I'm not finding pleasure in every day, then it starts to get really heavy really quickly. And as women who sit in our feminine energy, it is so fundamentally important that we build pleasure into our day, particularly as business owners, where we are often very productivity focused and task focused. It's so important that we take time out to sit on the veranda and have a cup of coffee, or have a laugh with friends, or put some nice perfume on and a nice dress, and just go out feeling really good about ourselves for the day. Or have a really nice bath. And I know it's super cliche to have a bath, but those moments where we're actually like, oh, this feels really nice. This is good. I feel happy. I feel like this is a nice moment. Those moments are so important for us to refill our energy and to reconnect with our feminine energy, that is such a powerful force of creation, that if we don't take that time to make pleasure in our lives, then it again just kind of becomes like, what is the point of all of this? And I feel so grateful that I am reaching this point in life, and I'm looking around and thinking, wow, like, I'm not saying my life is perfect, like, it's not by any stretch of the imagination, but I get to look around today and say, it is pretty freaking awesome. And if this is as good as it gets, then that's amazing, and I will take that from here. And I want that for every single one of you. And I know that that has come from me working hard over the last 20 years to figure out some of these lessons that make the difference. And I want to give you that gift today. So patience, persistence, I'm going to put this in the picture, positivity, and not in the toxic way, but looking for the positive, people, and pleasure. If you can master those 5 things, or even just start to implement them, ladies, in your life, you will see profound changes happen that will make, hopefully, a world of difference for you as you come up to your next big milestone, or just in the next 12 months as you come up to your next birthday or end of this year. I hope that's been helpful. I hope there's something in here that is inspiring for you and that gives you an insight into something you maybe haven't thought of before. I'm so grateful to have you all in this community and to be able to share these insights with you. It makes me, it's one of the things that I love, and I'm, is in that list of gratitude that I have built this beautiful community that you all are part of, and then I get to share this stuff with you. So thank you again for watching. It's so amazing to have you here, and I look forward to seeing you all soon on our next live training.